Well, 2023 is here. It's a new year. Can you believe another year has just sped on by and now we're facing another year? Well, my name is Chris and I'm so excited that you joined us online today. And I wanted to take just a few moments to talk about, well, how we can face this new year and give this year our best yes. You see, in our lives, we're filled with, well, a bunch of opportunities where we say yes to something, which means we say no to something else. You know, maybe you're starting off this new year and you're going to say yes to eating healthy foods, right? Which means you're going to say no to a whole lot of things that you've been eating before, but you're saying yes, right? To eating healthy, to caring for your body, right? You're going to say yes to that, which means all that Christmas food that you said yes to, all the Christmas desserts that were so good, all of that extra turkey from Thanksgiving, all of the Halloween candy. I know parents, you snuck from your kids that you said yes to. You're now going to say no to. Why? Because, well, you're going to say yes to, well, eating healthy, right? We get this principle. When we say yes to something, we're also saying no to something. And so today, I just want to give you 3 yeses that I think should be your best yes in 2023, which also means there's going to be 3 things you're going to say no to as well. You ready for this? I'd encourage you, grab a piece of paper, a pen, maybe your phone to take some notes on. I think these 3 will help you have the best 2023 and beyond. So let's get to it. The first yes is this. Say yes to courage, which means say no to fear. Man, the marketing engine in our country, around the world, has capitalized on fear. Headlines are scripted for fear because they want you to click on those headlines because they want to make more money. Everything around us is all so fear-based. And that's why I want for 2023 for it to be a year fueled with courage. And courage doesn't mean the fear goes away. Courage doesn't mean that you just ignore that the fear is there. Courage doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when that fear starts to creep up, don't allow it to conquer you. When that fear starts to rise up within you, you say yes to courage and you say no to fear. When you sense the fear, when you see the fear, when you feel the fear, when you know it is wreaking havoc within you, you need to say out loud, no to fear. I'm going to say yes to courage. There's this amazing moment with a guy named Joshua. Moses had handed Joshua the leadership baton, and Joshua was about ready to lead God's chosen people, the 12 tribes, Israel, into the promised land. I've actually stood on this mountaintop where they think the Israelites stood to cross into the promised land. It's now in modern day Jordan. It's an epic view, and I could just imagine this moment where Joshua, this younger leader who was trying to fill the shoes of Moses, and now he's the one to lead God's people. And God comes to Joshua, and this is what God says to him: have I not commanded you? This isn't really a question. This is God saying, no, I've told you. I've been clear with you, Joshua. Joshua, as a leader, I just want you to know. I just want you to know something. Lean in, Joshua. Pay attention, Joshua. Hey, Joshua, I got something for you. He goes, be strong and courageous. And oh, by the way, don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. Be strong and courageous. Hey, Joshua, you're going to face some things. Be strong and courageous. Hey, Joshua, there's going to be some people not liking you. Be strong and courageous. Hey, Joshua, you're going to face some armies that are going to be more powerful than you, more numerous than you. Be strong and courageous. Hey, Joshua, there's going to be nights where you're going to crawl into your bed, into your tent, and you're going to think to yourself, I'm just not good enough. I'm not equipped enough. I'm not smart enough, wise enough, strong enough. I don't have the wartime strategy enough. I'm just not the right leader. Moses was the right leader. I'm not. Hey, Joshua, when you have those thoughts, be strong and courageous, and don't be afraid. But God doesn't stop there. God doesn't put a period there. God's going to tell him the source of his courage and his strength. He goes, for I'm For I'm going to be with you wherever you go. Man, you got to hold on to that. The God of the universe is with you wherever you go. The strength of God is with you wherever you go. The presence of God is with you wherever you go. The peace of God is with you wherever you go. The wisdom of God is with you wherever you go. God is with you. And that's why you need to say yes to courage. Again, not ignoring fear, not discounting fear, not pretending fear is not around you. No. But when that fear starts to raise up, whether you read a headline, you crawl into bed and you feel insecure, feel like you just can't face it, when someone creates that fear within you, whatever is tied to fear, whenever you do that, you need to say yes to courage and say, I am strong, I'm courageous. Why? Because God is with me. If God is for me, who can be against me? That's your first yes. Say yes to courage. The second yes that I just want to encourage you to say yes to for 2023 and beyond, you got to say yes to listening. We're horrible listeners, aren't we? Which in turn, you're going to say no to reacting. We're living in a reactionary period of time. I mean, you read one headline, you react. You hear one person say one thing. You don't even know the entire story, react. You hear one version of a story, you react. You think you see something, you react. You sense something or you feel something. And we stop listening and we react. We have to emotionally, mentally, start doing so much more listening and say no to reacting. And this is difficult because our emotions start going and we want to react and we think we're right. And how many times do we react and then we get a little space from that reaction and we realize maybe we weren't right. Or maybe we didn't have the full story. Maybe we didn't see the entire picture. Maybe we didn't have all the information. Maybe we needed to gain more perspective. That's why listening is so important. The wisdom writer wrote these words. Too much talk leads to sin. I mean, we can stop there. That's just truth. Right? The more you talk, right, it does lead to sin. I mean, it gives more space for pride that's within all of us. Right? Let's not fool ourselves. All of us have pride lurking within us. It allows pride to kind of creep into our words, into our thought processes, doesn't it? Too much talk allows space for those white lies. I know we try to discount them. I'm like, it wasn't really a lie. It was just a white lie. I just kind of changed parts of the story to fit my narrative, to fit, my feelings, to fit what I wanted to convey. But still sin. Too much talk gets us talking about other people, which is gossip, which is sin. Too much talk involves us in other people's storylines that we shouldn't be a part of unless we're sitting with that person. I mean, we could just pause there. But the wisdom writer doesn't pause there. He goes, too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible. And what do you think goes in that blank? I mean, let's just pause there for a moment. Well, I mean, what do you think goes in there? I mean, what do you think the wisdom writer wrote? Now, when I read this, I was kind of shocked. I would never have guessed that he would have wrote these words, but it is so on point. It is so clear, and it's so true. And it gets to the yes. Have you figured it out yet? He simply writes, keep your mouth shut. Shut up. Listen. Listen. We got to do so much more listening to people. This is something I've been working on, especially later in 2022, as I was thinking about this new year, of trying to listen to what is that person saying? What is that person not saying? I know what I feel from them. I can tell from them. I can see the look in their eyes, but I'm trying to get underneath the waterline, underneath the surface. What's really going on within them? It's so easy to react above the surface and never listen to what's really happening within them. And I'm just trying to slow myself down. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. Am I perfecting this? No. It's a daily pursuit. So say yes. Say yes to listening, no to reacting. In fact, the wisdom writer goes on, and this is encouragement for all of us. Plans go wrong for lack of advice. Many advisors bring success. This is a who's around you question. Who are the wise people? That's what the wisdom writer's getting at. Advisors. Who are the wise people around you? People who you look at. Again, not perfect people. None of us are. But people whose heart is pursuing God. People who are pursuing to love like Jesus and live like Jesus and leave behind what Jesus left behind. You should lean into those people who are trying to pursue a life modeling, reflecting Jesus. Who do you have around you that you're listening to? Who's around you who will look at you and say, hey, you should just maybe quiet your mouth for a moment. Maybe you should start doing some more listening and stop reacting. You see, this really gets to our relationships. Could you imagine how much better our marriages would be if we'd listen more and react less? I know I'm guilty. Do you think as parents, how much better we could parent if we didn't react at our kids, no matter the age, whether you have young kids, teenagers, or adult kids, if we would stop reacting and start listening to them? Think about it as leaders. If you're a boss, a manager, you own your own business, have employees, could you imagine if we listened more and reacted less? It really gets into our relationships, and I think your relationships in 2023 and beyond would soar if you would listen more, react less, and have wise people around you. In fact, next weekend we're going to launch a new series. I'm so excited about it. It's called Walk the Line, and we did this series called 800-Pound Gorilla, and the number one feedback I received out of that series was from a podcast we did with a counselor who talked about boundaries, and she actually said, we need to talk more about boundaries. And so many of you came up to me and were like, Chris, we need to listen and learn more about boundaries. And so we're kicking off this series, again, called Walk the Line. And part of our tagline is we want to equip each other. Like, I'm part of this. We want to equip each other to walk with people and not be walked over. We want to walk with people. That's the listening, without reacting, but without being walked over. And so I just want to encourage all of you to be part of this. I think it's going to be super helpful. The Bible has so much wisdom on how we walk with people without being used, without being taken advantage of. So many times in the church world, we're like, well, we got to love. Yeah, we got to love. But God says that's walking with people, not being walked over. So I just want to encourage you, invite your friends, come be a part of it. Check out one of our churches. Connect online is going to be super helpful as we launch this next year. And the third yes, I want you to say yes to potential. What do I mean by that? I'll get to that in a moment, because the no is excuses. God has gifted you with so much potential. Do you realize that? Let me say that again. Some of you need to hear this again. God has gifted you with so much potential, yet you're living your life filled with excuses. There's always excuses. You know God is stirring something within you, and you immediately make an excuse. You know what it is. God is whispering something within you. Maybe he's unfolding a dream within you. Maybe he's encouraging you to take a step out, and you need some courage to take a step out. Maybe you're listening to some advisors. See how these all start to connect together, and they're encouraging you too, because they see the potential in you, but yet you keep making excuses for why you're not willing. And really, a lot of that's just tethered to fear, insecurities, uncertainty. And I want this year for you to say yes to all the potential that God has breathed into you. At the very beginning of our Bible, Genesis chapter 1. You know how it starts? In the beginning, God. It starts with him. and ends with him. The God of the universe created. Now, just a couple days ago, I was reading online, and scientists have just found the 50,000, hear me, the 50,000th, if that's a word, spider species of spiders. 50,000. They just hit the 50,000 mark of types of spiders in our world. Let that settle. I mean, if you're scared of spiders, I don't love them. I don't have a phobia against them, but I don't enjoy them. 50,000 spiders they know of. And then scientists went on in this article to say, we think we're only halfway there. They still think there's another 50,000 types of spiders in our world. I mean, you pause and you think about God's creation. When God created the world, his creative energy, his creative potential, unlimited. And he breathed that into you. He breathed it into you. And so I want in 2023 for you to say to God, God, you've given me the potential to do great things for you because you're in me and through me. And stop making excuses. Say no to all the excuses. And they're going to want to come up within you. You're going to want to lean into them. You're going to hear them. And you just need to say no to the excuses and say yes to God, who's hardwired you with the potential to do great things because you are made in his image. So 2023, I want it to be your best yes. Say yes. Say yes to courage and no to fear. Say yes to listening and no to reacting. Say yes to potential and no to excuses. Say yes. Be courageous. Be courageous. Listen. And expect God to take all that potential that he's breathed into you to do something great this year. Because God wants to leverage your one life to do something great. Let's have our best 2023. Let's say our best yes we can. And expect God. Expect God to do what only God can do. Let me pray for all of you. Lord, I just thankful for this new year. I'm thankful because you're excited about what's going to happen in and through us. And so, Lord, I just pray when all those no's want to emerge, Lord, I just pray that we just scream out our best yes. Lord, when we want to lean into all of those no's, Lord, I just pray that you'll surround us with the right people to help us say yes. That we'll be courageous, that we'll listen, and that we'll explore all the potential you have breathed into us. In your name I pray. Amen.